I'm just astonished by the whole thing. Just seeing the joy on people's faces when they leave because they've had a really good evening. And they've met people they've got to know quite well over the months, and they've had a good time. And it's like the highlight of their month. It's just incredible, just through the power of music. The power of music.
Lucy, just thinking about the Good Company people and the extraordinary work that you have done and are doing, why do you think you felt music was really important to incorporate into what you do, and what have you seen happen? Just a couple of examples, because I know we could talk for hours on this.
Yeah, I think what is beautiful about using music is that we do a supper club, and there are lots of people in the room who really are struggling with their cognition and with finding words. But when you put Que Sera Sera on, every single word just falls into place, and it's medicinal, because we have people in their early 60s all the way to their late 90s, nearly 100. So we're having to span decades. And we can go from 1 minute doing Beatles, and then we go to Doris Day, and then we go back to Consider Yourself. So it's just, and everyone knows the words. You will always know the words to Consider Yourself and What a Wonderful World and I Did It My Way. So it gives you goosebumps, doesn't it, Paul?
It really does. The whole group just comes to life. They come in, it's like certainly the first one, but certainly a bit reticent about coming in, and they had a lot of issues and stuff. But as soon as they were in that safe space, if you like, and they could see everyone else was a very similar position to them to different degrees, start playing the piano, everybody to a T started singing, and it was just absolutely astonishing.
And that, sorry, Paul, I was just going to jump in, because I think you said something really important there, which is about the power of group experience, isn't it? So wherever you're at, you can offer something to the group, and somebody else from the group can take something of that. So, whether you know a word or you know the whole song, there's something that can be given and taken from that group experience.
Definitely, yeah. And it just triggers some sort of, maybe it's a longer term memory, maybe it's something that's more buried deep within us from our years of listening to music, but it just comes straight to the fore. And by doing it by doing it in pubs and things as well, obviously, again, it's places that people are used to throughout their lives. You've got people in the community who are also popping in to go to the pub, as for a normal meal or for a drink, and they can see what's going on. So it's kind of engaging with the community there, which is great. And even, we have the staff of the pub is sometimes singing along and joining in as well. So it's just absolutely astonishing.
I'm really pleased that you mentioned where it is that your sessions take place, because there's something very normalizing and leveling about that, and that it's so destigmatizing that it's an everyday situation, and there's this sort of feel-good thing. It makes me, I can't claim to be 100 years old, but it gives me that feeling of what community might have been like in my rose-tinted glasses, is that idea of, actually, we're just going to get together, we're going to have a time together, and we're going to try and make each other feel good and feel wanted. And that's what I'm hearing, actually, as you talk about in that sort of social pub experience, that everyone's welcome, whether you've got dementia or not. There's something about coming together and being part of something. And I guess that hits on what the theme of today, which is how important groups are for our mental health and our well-being, that we need to know we're wanted. We need to know that we're cared for. We need to know we can be part of something. And that's so valuable when you might feel, whether you're living with dementia or you're a carer, that you're becoming more and more removed.
One of my favourite compliments of Supper Club is it's also normal.
Yeah.
And actually, that's what you want. You want everything to be normal, you know, and people can't tell who's got dementia and who hasn't, because, you know, the songs are a great leveler and everyone sings along or hums along. People get up and dance, and we just set the pub on, you know, not on fire, but you know what I mean. We set it alight, and it becomes a conversation starter. And I think what's nice as well is that people don't come because it's dementia welcoming, so everyone's invited. So there's lots of people who come who might have cognitive changes or might just, and so it's really easy to walk into the pub and have some fish and chips and have a sing song. And it doesn't necessarily define you in any way that you're living with dementia, but it's a way of being part of a very enabling, supportive community.
Yeah, it's like the Billy Joel song in Piano Man. You know, they go there to forget about life for a while. They forget about all the stresses and strains that they're going under in what has become their life, and they can forget about that for a couple of hours and just socialize with people and sing and express themselves and just enjoy life, you know. So
yeah,
it's incredibly powerful.
And it's so good to hear that so positively and powerfully and heartfeltly reinforced by you both, because it's something that I've talked about before, this idea of topping up the emotional credits. Thinking particularly about carers, that this is a tough gig, and Lucy, you know this more than anybody. You know, it's not easy, but you need to see the joy, because it's the thing that helps the next morning. The thoughtfulness that goes into the way they think about their group and their songbook and the way that they use music. So I don't know if you both want to say something about that, because you've got this incredible age range of the people that enjoy the good company. And so it'd be lovely to hear a little bit about how, because in previous sessions we've talked about the importance of personalization, but also there is music out there that we all might have some sort of resonance or connection with. But I was really interested in how you both talked earlier about the songbook that you use, but also the thoughtful, careful consideration that goes into making sure that everybody feels accommodated and supported and connected with through the music.
Well, I think for the first Supper Club, we only had probably 10 songs, Lucy, to start with, and it was very much focused on the older style of music, the old musicals. But we very quickly realised that, as Lucy said earlier, you have a range from mid-60s through to almost 100 years old, and a lot of the people at the Supper Club were into music like Elvis and the Beatles and, you know, rock and roll and all that kind of thing. So we very quickly realised not only do we need to increase the repertoire, but we needed to cater for those additional tastes. Trying to cater for the vocal ranges as well, because obviously, you know, some of these songs actually technically, from a vocalist point of view, are quite tricky. You know, have really big ranges or go really, really high. So, you know, we've had to sit down and say, actually, we probably can't do a couple of those songs because the range is too big. Or in some cases, we've just brought it down a few sort of semitones just to make it, you know, we've got to make it easy for people just to be able to pick up and sing along to. It doesn't have to be the original key or anything like that, because that's not what we're trying to achieve. But so we have had to kind of cater for those kind of things, I guess.
We've cut quite a few of the choruses out because there's only so many choruses of Consider Yourself you can do before it's like, oh gosh. So so what we discovered is actually we've made our own songs up and put the choruses in other things. So yeah, we've made it our own, all of these songs. I'm sure Elvis would be very happy.
But you know, that's so lovely, the way that you describe that, because it's just so personal to the people that you know, from the very thoughtfulness of like, what key are we singing in, which most people probably don't give a second hoot to, but the fact that you've got that sensitivity to, let's make this accessible at every possible level, to who needs 10 choruses, like we just need 2.5 minutes, let's not go to the 4.5, let alone the 6.5. Let's just, where's the attention at? So there's something there really about attending to people and what's possible for them. And so I'd imagine that as much as these sessions are incredibly fun for you both, there's an awful lot of attention being given to everybody every minute, watching out for communications, verbal and non-verbal, and singing and musical and otherwise, that you're both constantly attending to and thinking about and considering.
Part of the recipe of good company is that we have some incredible volunteers, and everyone in the room we've done discovery sessions on, so we know their backstory and we know their past, so we know everyone in the room. We know that, you know, the friendship groups that are forming, which they really truly are genuine friendships, you know, and we used to put people together and now they're like, no, I want to sit next to Carol, off I go. So it's really interesting watching, but also there's that real sense of community where new people come in, there is this absolute like inclusivity where people open up their arms and you know and so made to feel very, very welcome. And I think that what works really well is the volunteers. If, for example, a carer just wants to sit and chew the fat and just have that conversation with other carers, the volunteers can provide that respite to the people they support, which means that they actually get a break as well. So they actually find that they have not only they've sung, but they've also managed to connect and have deeper meaningfuls over supper, and then have a sing song together. So I think all the ingredients work really well.
What it means to provide great facilitation and how the music can really help support with that, but really getting to carers, what it means to them, that there is that opportunity to connect, to identify, to offload, to share, to feel encouraged or motivated, or just know that there's an ear there waiting for them. And whether that's with the disguise of music, you know, music providing a bit of a curtain, if you like, but to have that conversation, it doesn't have to be overheard, or just to let their hair down and be part of something fun and sweet and meaningful. I just feel the spirit from you both talking about why this matters so much to people.
I'm just astonished by the whole thing. I mean, every time, you know, and just seeing the joy on people's faces when they leave because they've had a really good evening, or they've had if it's a lunch club, a good lunch club, and they've met people they've got to know quite well over the months, and they've had a good time, and it's like the highlight of their month. I think it's like a club in a way for a lot of them, because it's just gives them something to do. It's just incredible, just through the power of music.
The power of music and the power of people, I would add, because I think that what I'm hearing is that the music is the bit of the vehicle, but both you, Paul, and Lucy, with your facilitation and your attention to people and what matters to them and understanding, you know, we all as social creatures want to be seen, heard and felt, but I think that's even more accentuated when you are living with a condition such as dementia, that really needs to come to the fore. And I just hear that at the forefront of what you're both saying about how music enables that so much more easily. You know, it's not a dry conversation, it's a conversation that you can cut into quickly because, you know, there's a shared moment with music, and that suddenly you can share that with other people without having to do lots of sort of background work. The music is that beautiful shortcut to connecting people into that group situation. And also from the description of your supper club, which I need to come to because it just sounds amazing, and we haven't even talked about food, is that
fish and chips.
You know, great, I'm there. It's just this idea that it's not intimidating, and so much about dementia is intimidating. And what I hear is I hear a massive musical hug with a massive hug of people, that you're very welcome, and we just accept you as you are. And I think I couldn't think of anything more welcoming for somebody who's caring for somebody with dementia, let alone somebody with dementia.
And also someone has experience in cognitive changes and just wants to go somewhere and just be in a safe space. And that's the challenge. I think that, you know, it's still something that people are scared of and are masking, and therefore if you're coming to a fish and chip supper club, you know, where's the dementia in that? You're just going to go out to a pub, you're going to go and sing, you know, it's normal. And I think that's that's the key, really. It's just to make it a normal part of life. And the, you know, and in the sprinkle, the magic dust is the music that's the thread that runs through everything that we do. Yeah, I just love watching the carers looking at maybe their husband who is singing and belting out, you know, a Rolling Stones track, and, you know, and just that look of absolute pride and love that, you know, that they're seeing that glimpse of that, you know, it's that window of just
absolutely.
it's the, you know, the antidote to everything else all day.